hadir Pak Wadirman juga, Pak. Mohon izin mantan Menteri Pendidikan dulu.
Iya.
Selamat pagi, selamat malam, Pak.
Besar.
Selamat malam Pak Wardiman. Wah, luar
Ini
biasa.
saya di rumah jadi pakai casual ya, nggak apa-apa ya.
Oh iya Pak. Yang penting Pak Wardimannya sehat itu. Bapak Ibu
Iya,
sekalian,
betul.
beliau tuh usianya 90 lebih nih. Dan kemarin kalau Bapak Ibu melihat ada buku Kartini 3 volume, itu karya beliau yang terakhir itu. Surat-surat
Oh,
Kartini. Ya Pak ya? Pak Wardiman. Surat-surat Kartini ya Pak?
ya betul.
Betul, ya.
Jadi
Luar biasa.
surat-surat Kartini, jilid 2 adalah mengenai biografi, jilid 3 adalah how to raise kesetaraan gender Indonesia. Jadi 3 jilid.
Mungkin habis ini kita bisa ngundang beliau ya, Prof. Rani. Pak
Siapa?
Wardiman.
Mungkin ya.
Yang bicara Pak Profesor Wardiman, saya kira hebat juga nanti itu.
Oh, bisa. Senang hati, Pak. Sekarang saya
Makasih.
setiap 2 minggu keliling ke universitas untuk
Oh,
bedah buku. Ya.
beliau. Bayangin tadi, silakan un, kalau Unpad ingin mengundang Prof. Wardiman ini, mau kita ketemu, nah, beliau
Ya, boleh.
2 minggu keliling bedah
Ya,
buku di Pak Rizky.
boleh.
Diundang beliau nih. Beliau adalah tokoh Link and Match ya, yang akan kita
Oh,
kenal sekarang, Link and Match.
ya, ya.
Ya, Pak
Luar
Dubes.
biasa, luar biasa.
Oh,
Mungkin Pak Rizky bisa cerita sedikit. Silakan Pak Rizky, sambil menunggu.
Ya, Bapak Ibu izin kita menunggu sekitar 4 menit lagi. Bapak Ibu nanti kita akan mulai acaranya tepat pada pukul 9 waktu Amerika, waktu Washington, atau pukul 8 malam waktu Indonesia. Sambil kita masih menunggu beberapa peserta lagi yang mungkin sedang joining di Zoom kita pada kesempatan ini. Saat ini tercatat sudah hampir 50. Targetnya 130 ya, Pak Dubes ya? Ya,
Yang pertama 130 soalnya. Karena
30 ya, baik.
masalahnya masalah pangan. Nah, sekarang ini masalahnya masalah kesehatan. Saya kira sama juga.
Ya.
Jadi latar belakang Bapak waktu itu gimana Pak Rizky? Kita belum kenal nih.
Oh iya, perkenalkan saya Rizky Abdullah, Bapak Ibu. Saya dari Unpad. Kebetulan bidang saya adalah farmasi dan kebetulan juga Prof. Taruna mempunyai kerjasama penelitian dengan Unpad. Beberapa waktu lalu kita menguji bersama ya. Kebetulan Pak Taruna sebagai co-supervisor, saya sebagai oponen ya. Dan tentang dengan Departemen Kimia ya, Prof. Taruna ya, banyaknya
Kimia
dengan
dan
Prof.
biochemistry ya. Yes.
Biochemistry ya. Ya. Kira-kira latar belakangnya seperti itu, Pak Dubes?
Baik, jadi sudah. Nah, ini kalau kita melihat yang hadir sini termasuk ada yang dari Bio Farma, ada yang dari berbagai perguruan tinggi ini. Luar biasa ini. Saya lupa mengundang Mr. Brook. Bu Rani sempat mengundang Mr. Brook nggak ya Pak Ibu ya?
Sudah, Pak.
Oh sudah. Mr. Brook itu sudah mengirim 150 orang Indonesia itu ke Amerika itu. Dan beliau akan masuk dalam STEM juga. Nah, nanti ini luar biasa nih. Tidak, Universitas Kristen di Payan. Unkrida itu mana ya?
Ukrida di Jakarta, Pak.
Unkrida. Oh, beberapa hanya nama, nggak ada afiliasinya, tapi nggak apa-apa. Bisa melihat ini. Jadi kalau ini silakan bisa memperkenalkan diri.
Baik, Pak Dubes, izin boleh kita mulai, Ibu?
Silakan, Prof.
Ya, baik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, Bapak Ibu. Selamat pagi waktu Washington DC atau selamat malam waktu Indonesia. Selamat datang untuk Bapak Ibu seluruh peserta yang bergabung, baik dari Indonesia, dari US maupun dari belahan dunia lainnya. Dengan Kami sangat gembira menyambut kehadiran Bapak Ibu dan rekan-rekan semua dalam webinar pada hari ini yang berjudul Does Indonesia Need a Biotechnology-Derived Therapeutics, di mana kegiatan kita pada malam hari ini atau pagi hari ini adalah suatu rangkaian series of webinar yang di-arrange oleh Kedutaan Besar Republik Indonesia di Mohon maaf, suara saya jelas, Bapak Ibu?
Jelas, Pak, jelas.
Ya, baik. Perkenalkan saya Rizky Abdullah dari Universitas Pajajaran yang pada kesempatan ini menjadi webinar pada moderator pada kali ini. Dan kami merasa sangat terhormat atas kehadiran yang terhormat yang mulia Bapak Dwi Suryo Indroyono Susilo, Duta Besar Republik Indonesia untuk Amerika Serikat, yang akan memberikan sedikit arahannya, sambutannya untuk memulai acara ini. Dan setelah sambutan tersebut, nanti kita akan mendengarkan kurang lebih paparan selama 30 menit dari Profesor Taruna Sihaan dari University of Kansas, seorang peneliti terkemuka yang karyanya telah mendapatkan pengakuan internasional, di mana sesi ini akan dilanjutkan dengan sesi tanya-jawab selama kurang lebih 30 menit. Baik, Bapak Ibu, sebelum kita mulai acara ini, mari bersama-sama kita menyanyikan lagu kebangsaan Indonesia Raya. Baik, Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, merupakan kehormatan untuk saya memperkenalkan Yang Mulia Bapak Dwi Suryo Indroyono Susilo, Duta Besar Luar Biasa dan Berkuasa Penuh Republik Indonesia untuk Amerika Serikat. Izin saya memperkenalkan beliau. Beliau adalah seorang cendekiawan dan pejabat tinggi pemerintah dengan pengalaman yang luas di bidang kemaritiman, pengelolaan sumber daya alam, dan teknologi remote sensing. Beliau lulus dari bidang geologi di ITB dan melanjutkan memperoleh gelar MSc di bidang remote sensing for natural resources dari University of Michigan. Selanjutnya, beliau memperoleh gelar PhD di bidang Geologic Remote Sensing dari the University of Iowa. Sebelum menjabat sebagai duta besar, beliau juga pernah menjabat sebagai Menteri Koordinator Bidang Kemaritiman Republik Indonesia, Direktur di Organisasi Pangan dan Pertanian Dunia PBB di Roma, serta Kepala Riset Kelautan dan Perikanan di Kementerian Kelautan dan Perikanan Republik Indonesia. Beliau telah menulis lebih dari 90 publikasi ilmiah dan menerima penghargaan tertinggi dari pemerintah Republik Indonesia, Bintang Mahaputra, Pratama, dan Bintang Jasa Utama. Bapak Ibu hadirin sekalian, kami persilakan, kami sambut, mari kita sambut Yang Mulia Bapak Dubes Indroyono Susilo. Silakan Pak Dubes.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Nama Budaya, salam kebajikan. Salam, selamat malam di Indonesia dan selamat pagi Bapak Ibu yang ada di Amerika Serikat dan juga salam untuk yang ada di berbagai mancanegara. Terima kasih kesempatannya di sini Profesor Teruna Dir, Tiaan dari Kansas, Universitas Kansas, Amerika Serikat. Terima kasih Dr. Rizky Abdullah di Profesor, dan terima kasih kepada Bapak dan Ibu dari KBRI Washington DC, terutama Rani, Pendidikan Kebudayaan, yang hadir dan mengatur acara pada hari ini. Ada malam, ada pagi hari ini. Di Jakarta dan waktu Washington. Lalu sekalian, ini adalah program yang kita garap untuk sama-sama kita berupaya mengoptimasikan kemampuan sumber daya manusia kita di dalam negeri maupun di luar negeri. Kalau kita mengikuti pidato Bapak Presiden Prabowo pada peringatan 1 tahun beliau dilantik pada 20 Oktober, Senin minggu lalu, beliau menyampaikan 50% lebih dari pembicaraan beliau yang disampaikan adalah masalah pengembangan sumber daya manusia. Tentunya kalau sudah begitu, ini bagian dari kita untuk mengimplementasikan harapan dari Bapak Presiden. Hal lain yang beliau sampaikan sangat sederhana saja. Ya ingin swasembada pangan, swasembada energi, masalah air, dan hilirisasi industri. Dua, beliau menyampaikan saya ingin ditingkatkan untuk industri ini adalah beliau menyampaikan kekuatan sains, teknologi, engineering, math, and medicine, STEM. Nah, sebab itulah maka kita sekarang mencoba memobilisasi kemampuan kita yang di Amerika maupun yang di Indonesia untuk mengatakan. Bapak sekalian, saya ingin sampaikan dari daftar yang kami dapat itu ada sekitar 80 diaspora kita profesional, PhD, profesor, dan juga yang bekerja di universitas di Amerika Serikat, juga diaspora kita yang bekerja di laboratorium dunia di Amerika Serikat, juga bekerja di perusahaan-perusahaan besar seperti Boeing, Biotechnology-Derived, IBM, di Microsoft, dan juga di Amazon, di Google. Nah ini mudah-mudahan kita bisa memobilisasi kemampuan dari diaspora kita untuk bersama-sama kita membangun Indonesia, membawa Indonesia menjadi negara industri, tentunya dengan kemampuan sumber daya. Saya ingin sampaikan, ini program terus berlanjut, kita sedang membahas sama-sama dengan Kementerian Dikti Saistek dan juga dengan LPDP, program magang atau internship para lulusan kita master PhD di STEM untuk bisa berdalam dalam program internship OPP ya, untuk menambah pengalaman 2-3 tahun di berbagai perusahaan di Amerika Serikat. Anggapannya positif, tinggal kita gerakkan saja nanti. Kita lihat. Nah, untuk program kita seperti ini adalah yang kedua kalinya sama Profesor Heri Utomo, beliau dari Louisiana State University, memproduksi benih beras high protein low glycemic index. Alhamdulillah mendapat angka positif hasil paparannya. Kementerian Pertanian langsung akan melakukan uji coba di Sukamandi di Jawa Barat ya, untuk melihat seperti apa produk seperti ini, karena selain ini adalah bagus karena ini adalah staple kita dan pangan-pangan kita, tapi juga kalau bisa pangan-pangan kita itu juga menambah produktif, juga mengurangi glycemic index-nya sehingga tidak berdampak pada diabetes atau penyakit gula. Tapi ini ide yang bagus, kita bergerak ke sana juga. Pada hari ini terima kasih Teruna bisa peran dengan kita masalah biotechnology, masalah medicine, masalah pharmaceutical, tadi kaitannya dengan STEM. Yang berikutnya kan, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math, Medicine, inilah Taruna akan menjaga paparannya. Apa kesimpulan kita? Kesimpulan kita adalah harus kita bisa follow up. Jadi Bapak Ibu yang hadir di sini silakan usulkan maunya seperti apa nanti. Kita Prof. Rani sudah mencatat beberapa US institution itu yang, dan juga Indonesia antara LPDP, ada Yusindo, ada Indonesia Institute, dan segala macam. Mereka itu sudah bekerjasama dengan Indonesia. Masalahnya belum banyak yang bekerjasama dalam STEM. Kami akan coba garap ini dalam kerangka STEM, sehingga nanti benar-benar kita bisa membawa industri cepat maju dengan dukungan sains dan teknologi mutakhir. Demikian dari kami, Bapak Ibu sekalian. Terima kasih atas kehadirannya. Wah, ini sudah Pak Rizky sudah 138, berarti sudah bisa rekor. Sebelumnya 138, sekarang ini 138, berarti ini pasti lebih dari 138. Terima kasih, saya tutup. Mari kita ikuti paparan dari Prof. Teruna. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Halo.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saat ini sudah 142, Pak Dubes.
Ini sudah mau potong rekor, Pak Teruna. Luar biasa. Terima kasih. Terima kasih.
Ya, baik Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, selanjutnya izinkan saya memperkenalkan narasumber kita pada hari ini, Profesor Taruna Sihaan PhD. Beliau seorang ilmuwan terkemuka diaspora Indonesia yang saat ini menjabat sebagai Aya Entakeru Higuchi Distinguished Professor di Department of Pharmaceutical Chemistry, University of Kansas, Amerika Serikat. Beliau menyelesaikan pendidikan S1 dan S2-nya di Universitas Indonesia, kemudian meraih gelar doktor bidang kimia organik dari University of Arizona. Selama lebih dari 3 dekade, Prof. Taruna Sihaan telah berkontribusi besar dalam bidang kimia dan bioteknologi farmasi, khususnya dalam pengembangan sistem penghantaran obat untuk penyakit autoimun dan gangguan saraf. Penelitiannya tentang molekul adesi sel telah membuka peluang baru bagi terapi penyakit seperti multiple sclerosis, diabetes tipe 1, dan Alzheimer's. Beliau juga aktif di berbagai organisasi ilmiah internasional dan telah menerima sejumlah penghargaan bergengsi, termasuk Pharma Foundation Award in Excellence in Pharmaceutics. Dan di samping kiprah risetnya, Profesor Sihaan juga aktif sebagai anggota berbagai asosiasi ilmiah, serta pernah menjabat sebagai Ketua Globalization of Pharmaceutics Education Network atau GPEN. Dan kita patut berbangga karena Prof. Sihaan merupakan salah satu putra terbaik Indonesia yang dapat berkiprah di kancah ilmiah dunia. Bapak Ibu, selanjutnya Prof. Taruna Sihaan akan mempresentasikan lecture-nya dalam waktu kurang lebih 30 menit. Nanti Bapak Ibu yang akan tertarik mengajukan pertanyaan agar kita tidak berebut untuk waktu, silakan nanti dituliskan pada kolom chat yang nanti akan saya bacakan ketika sesi Q&A setelah Prof. Sihaan selesai memberikan lecture-nya. Bapak Ibu, lecture ini nanti kita akan mungkin bilingual ya, ada bahasa Indonesia dan bahasa Inggrisnya. Nanti silahkan juga untuk pertanyaan untuk bilingual juga. Dan untuk tidak memperlama waktu kita menunggu, Bapak Ibu hadirin sekalian, mari kita sambut Profesor Taruna Sihaan. Silakan, Prof.
Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm gonna use English at this time, but I can use Indonesian and English also. So I'm gonna share my screen first. Okay, just a second. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Ambassador Professor Indriana, for giving me the opportunity to give this lecture. So I come up with this topic because I'm interested in biotechnology, and I've been working in this area for a long time. So the question is, does Indonesia need to invest in biotechnology-derived therapeutics? I will shorten it as biologics. So this has been in my mind for a long time because I visit Indonesia often and give lectures there and see what the development in Indonesia in this area. So my work basically try to develop biologics, including peptides, for therapeutics. So before I start, I would like to introduce a little bit what we do and my background. Early on, after I did my postdoc, I got the opportunity to work in La Jolla Cancer Research Foundation. Over there, that's how I learned how cell adhesion molecule function. And at that time, my supervisor discovered this sequence called RGD. Out of that sequence, we found cyclic peptides of RGD peptides can inhibit thrombosis. So at the end, that molecules become a therapeutics called integralin. And then Merck developed agrostat, which is anti-thrombic agent. So after that, I move on to Sterling Winthrop. At Sterling Winthrop, I work with enzyme inhibitor, also peptidomimetics, and then moved to Kansas. In Kansas, I work with lots of peptides that inhibit autoimmune disease and how we try to deliver drug to the brain. So over the years, we also collaborate with pharma industry and biotech industries to help them develop their products. Here currently, we have three active research. One area we are trying to deliver therapeutics to the brain. And as you can see, we are now able to deliver antibody to the brain because, as you know, brain diseases is very difficult to treat because there is a blood-brain barrier that select molecule that can get from the blood to the brain. So only 2% of drugs currently available can get into the brain. So this is a big problem. That's the reason it's very difficult to treat brain diseases such Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and also brain tumors. So the other area that we've been doing is try to develop molecules or biologics that control autoimmune diseases such as arthritis and multiple sclerosis. We also continuously work with biotech industry. We work with major biotech industry and also with a small biotech company. That's the reason I'm really interested in this lecture and to open the potential collaborations with my counterparts in Indonesia. Also, we already also doing this with UNPAD and UGM and early on with University of Indonesia. And we also try to develop a similar molecule like a Paxlovid drug for COVID, and now we are expanding it to various antiviral agent for coronaviruses. So we're gonna go to our topics. The question is, does Indonesia need to invest biotechnology-derived therapeutics or biologics? So I'm gonna say biologics from now on. If you search Google, the answer is says yes. Indonesia would greatly benefit from investing in biotechnology-derived therapeutics. There are many reasons for that. One of them, I just pick it up here, the country large population and the increasing prevalence of non-communicable diseases demand this kind of advanced treatment. Okay. So what is a biologics? So as we know, traditionally small molecules, either natural products or synthetic drugs, they're very popular in the 80s and actually then even in the late 80s, not many biotech drugs in the market. So now, recently, biologics becomes quite popular. The one that you know here, insulin, and then growth hormone. And now antibodies is one of the top biologics. And with the new knowledge about mechanistic of how molecules got internalized into the cell, there is antibody drug conjugates that conjugate really toxic drug that usually you cannot use it as therapeutics because they are toxic. Now they can hook it up to antibody to make like a guided missile, basically. They have become very selective. Also, peptides used to be, when I was at Sterling Winthrop, we worked there and everybody said peptide cannot be drugs. But now it's about 100 drugs, 100 peptides as a drug. Although previously in the old days, we have oxytocin discovered by Davignon, who get a Nobel Prize for discovering that molecule. But now lots of peptides in the market. People are deliver genes now. COVID vaccine is a delivering gene. Now we also have cell, what that becomes therapeutics. We call it CAR T cell to treat cancer. So because of that, the portfolio of biologics become increasing. This is a busy slide. I'm just going to highlight why biologics. So biologics usually has a large molecule, has a complex structure, but usually they're discovered because people understand the mechanistic of certain diseases or certain cells, and they are targeting that mechanism. That's the reason lots of this biologic is highly specific towards certain cells. Then because of their highly specific, they have lower side effect compared to the small molecule drugs. Now, because of the complexity of the structure of the molecule, they need a sophisticated way to formulate this molecule and to deliver them. So that's the reason we need to train scientists in this area. And our department early on in 1986 began to decide to train people in this area, because at that time Genentech produced a lot of biologics like antibodies and hormones, and we think this is in the good area. So we are one of the premier departments who train people who formulate and deliver biologics. Now, although it's expensive to produce, but they have high potency and low side effects because they don't have off-target site compared in the small molecules. They have other problems. Obviously, you cannot have all the advantage. So we need to train people in the area of how we're going to make, how we deliver them, how we formulate them. As you can see, this portfolio of global markets for therapeutics in 2018, only 31% biologics. In 2023 is 42% biologics. So if you look at the portfolio of pharmaceutical industry now, almost 50-50 research in R&D in small molecule and biologics. Now, why it's more popular? Like as I said, biologics is quite specific. As you can see, the global market just for antibodies. As I said, biology could be hormones, could be enzymes, and so forth. But just focus on monoclonal antibodies. Since 2002, you can see the sale quite increase, and it's predicted in 2025 the sales is 300 billion. So this is a huge market. As you can see, for example, antibody. How do the antibody works? Antibody is molecules that your body produce, B cells produce. And what it does is very specifically target certain proteins. So an example, somebody who has, let's say, Crohn's disease, it's inflammatory disease, they produce this protein called TNF-alpha. That's a bad molecules if you have autoimmune diseases, and that's exacerbate the disease. So when you inject antibody will bind to this TNF-alpha and then clear them up. When you clear them up, you can somehow reduce the exacerbation and suppress the disease. The other type of molecules that's also is endear to me, besides proteins and antibodies, is peptides. When I was at Sterling, peptides is also, when we work with peptides, everybody says, well, they can't never be drugs. But as you can see, the increase in approval of peptides and the global markets in 2025 is about 52 billion. And it's projected will be 83 billion. So it's really, really important for Indonesia to think about this and see where we want to go in developing peptides and proteins and biologics. So the nice thing about proteins, like I said before, the side effect is pretty low, right? So what happens is, this is, again, Pak Dubes mentioned about STEM, but understanding the basic science, it's really, really important for development. So I'm always keep preaching to say that you got to know both. You got to know the basic science and you got to know the application of it. So, but the application can be developed, will be novel if you know the basic science. So for example, in this case, metastasis of breast cancer involve many proteins. And one of the protein that's really important is we call HER2. It's human epidermal growth factor receptor. And this protein only expressed in certain breast cancer cell. So what happens is, during metastasis, when they move from one side to another, this protein really, really important. So what pharmaceutical industry thinking is, they are developing antibody that bind to this protein, so the cell, the tumor cell, cannot metastasize. And later on, they discover, all including us, not with this molecule, but other molecules, apparently a lot of receptor on the surface of the cell, they get updated, they got internalized into the cell. So essentially, if you have this receptor only in cancer cell, molecule that bind to it can get internalized. Therefore, essentially, you can target that cancer cell only. So that's why, in this case, they are conjugating toxic drug to the antibody, so they can make what we call it antibody drug conjugate as a guided missile. So the antibody becomes the power or the missile, and then the toxic drug becomes the payload. And because they are guided to this protein that's only expressed in the cancer, that's the reason ADC, or antibody drug conjugate, becomes specific. There's not to say there's no off target, but the off targets eliminated. Therefore, they are more specific, so the side effect will be lower. So that's the reason there's a 15 antibody drug conjugate now approved by the FDA, and it will be more and more in the future. So this is the one, a little bit about basic science. So what people discover in the basic science, that when you have this antigen or some protein on the surface of the cell, and then you have antibody that you generate that bind to that receptor, what you can do is you can generate a rocket that can recognize this target, and then you put the payload, and then the cell, in this case cancer cell, will uptake them. And when they uptake them and they go to the endosome and then move to the lysosome compartment, in the lysosome, the antibody got degraded and released the payload. The payload goes to the cytosol, and then when they go to the cytosol, and does it kill the cell? So that's the reason this antibody drug conjugate has a lot lower side effects, because they are not going to every cell. So they avoid normal cell. So that's the reason this process can direct specific to whatever cells you want to target, with the qualification that that cell produce a specific target that normal cells do not have. So this is the anti-cancer drugs that's been available. And what they did is they put the antibody, they conjugate it to toxic drug, and therefore this is the missile that can target certain cell. In this case is leukemia. And something like one thing that I was thinking about, Indonesia has a lots of research in natural products, right? Because we have lots of resources. Some of those natural products probably really toxic, but as by itself, they cannot be a drug because they have lots of side effects. Now there's a technology which is using antibody. You can use that molecules. In fact, that's what they did here. This molecule, caleximycin, is very toxic. By itself, you cannot develop this as a drug because they will have a huge side effect. But by conjugating them to antibody, they can be used as a drug. So this is a big, big opportunity for Indonesia, especially lots of scientists in Indonesia working with natural products. So our group also not only work with antibody, we also work with peptide, which is a lot easier to synthesize, to use that as a targeted drug delivery method to lower the toxicity of therapeutic. And we have efforts with UNPAD and UGM, couple of students doing research on this to develop peptide drug conjugates. So a little bit about what we do. So a bit complex here, but I'm just gonna do it very easily here. So in autoimmune diseases, what happens is your certain subpopulation, your immune cell, get activated and recognize your own tissue or your own body. So in the case of multiple sclerosis, some of your immune cell infiltrate your brain and attack the myelin sheath. And because of it attack the myelin sheath, then your neuron cannot send signal and the patient become paralyzed. So we've been able to design this biologics, which is piece of antibody conjugated with peptides. This process can suppress the activation of inflammatory cells. We call it Th1 and Th17. That's prevalent. The most prevalent is Th17, and they subdue the disease. Okay, and recently we also found that our molecules upregulate Treg that control the inflammatory systems. And as you know, recently Tregs researchers got Nobel Prize because used to be in the 80s, nobody knows if there's Tregs, but now we know that Tregs is really, really important to balance your immune systems. When it's inflamed, the Tregs would get activated, and our molecules here did that job. See here the model of multiple sclerosis animal. When we stimulate the disease, you can see the exacerbation of the disease, but when we treat it with this molecule, you can see the reversal of the disease, and the animals becomes healthy. So this is a little bit about our research that also based on basic science, basic understanding how immune cell works. So again, I cannot stress enough that the basic science drive the application. So we have to have those two developed. Okay, nowadays, cell can be therapeutics. So in the case of a lot of patients that do not respond anymore to normal anti-cancer drug, they can isolate the T cell. Apparently, the cancer cell has this antigen on the surface, and then you can isolate their T cell, and then you can insert the gene to get this CAR receptor, and then you can proliferate their patient T cell outside, and then inject it back to the patient. And the CAR T cell will recognize the antigen on the tumor cell and then kill the tumor cells. And we have lots of activity here in Kansas, in Children's Mercy Hospital, to develop this type of technology. And they've shown that patients, kids, children that's not responding anymore to normal therapeutics, responding really well with this CAR T cell. Okay. Oops, sorry. So how about biologics in Indonesia? I know there is, I've been doing some research and talked to some people, and Indonesia has some activity in biosimilars. What is a biosimilar? It's almost like a generic. Biosimilar is a biologic drugs that is similar to the approved drugs. That hopefully Indonesian government support biosimilars productions in Indonesia, because this could lead to economic benefits, job creation, and also hopefully can reduce cost saving in healthcare, then improve the pharmaceutical infrastructure. And also hopefully it lower the dependability from outside import, and maybe attract lots of investment from outside to develop biosimilars and later on biologics. For patient benefits, obviously, lots of diseases that cannot be treated with a small molecule can be treated with biologics. And the specificity of the drugs and the innovative treatments probably can solve a lot of problems that small molecule can't solve. And hopefully if we produce them in Indonesia, lowering the costs and lowering the costs in general for healthcare, and also increase a chance for patients with this type of high potent and selective drugs. For scientific benefits, obviously we can increase knowledge transfer technology. It could be stimulating innovations in this area, enhancing scientific capabilities in universities and also for students, and Indonesia could be the leaders in this field. And from my trips to Indonesia a lot, this effort is still minimal, especially in universities. Although UGM has a biotech center that I collaborate with, and I think this has to be more focused in this area and to stimulate research in this area. So what we need is to increase critical mass in order to be advancing in this area. So as you know, I'm not going to talk about it too much. This process of discovering molecules is not simple. It's very complex. It needs collaboration. So we cannot be silo anymore. If you see lots of my papers, we usually have 2-3 faculty members in the doing this. We cannot do it alone. So there's, again, I mentioned lots of basic science important. So far as I know, with the biologics or the biosimilar, we are in this space here. We develop and then manufacturing. The discovery, hopefully discovery will be more and more, because I know I collaborate with UNPAD. They're investing, a couple of my collaborators investing in peptides, looking at peptides, which is, I'm happy to do that. And then every time I get invited to give a talk, and a lot of students are really interested. And by the way, I teach 2 courses in UNPAD. I teach also in UGM. So I do that from here, just like this. And by the way, I'm not only talk about science. Also, I think I talk about scientific integrity, how to train students to follow the guidelines in science, and also teach them how to write papers and grants. So, of course, it costs a lot of money to do this, huge amount. One drug is cost like 2.5 billion from start to finish. So the important thing is we need to select the efficient direction. Where do we want to go? Well, we have to be strategic on this and start with biosimilars. That's a great thing, I think, for training and for getting a low-cost drug at the beginning. But sooner or later, we need to go to discover, right? So it takes probably a while, about 10 years to get one to push to the market. Yeah, strategically, government and industrial support is really important. And then we should leverage the existing companies, either and increase their productions or expand their capabilities, and stimulate also academic industrial research. But that's what we did. As I show you, I'm collaborating all the time with industry and increase the critical mass, not only in basic science, also applied science. That's the reason I always train students. I bring students from Indonesia to here. And kind of this collaboration to discover, that's right now, as far as I know, Indonesia is in just development and production, not in discovery yet. That's my perspective. I might be wrong. Okay. Okay, can university involve in producing drug? Not producing, but in research. Lead to production. So this is products that's out there based on discovery in cancers. So we have lots of therapeutics. These antivirals and then antipsychotics. And we have here in Kansas, we have technology center. We have place for faculty that has discovered something, and then they can spin off a company. And they've developed their products up to preclinical. Maybe they later on work with big company to develop and produce the drugs. So can university help the economy? Yes, there's a publication recently that KU really contribute to economy of Kansas because of our research and our products. So should we invest in this? In my opinion, yes. Indonesia should invest in biologics. And it will have positive impact to the economy, to the patient, and to the science. Obviously, can't be done just by the university, can't be done by the industry, but it has to be collaboration and has to have support of the government. And Certainly, university and research institutes should be involved in training the scientists and not only in the development, but also in discovery. So as you know, I'm the head of director of Global Health Center, and we collaborate a lot. One of our collaboration is in University of Nairobi and in Kenya. We have exchanged students, faculties, scientists, and we visit them every year. As you can see, I'm in Kenya there, and we are training the pharmacists to deliver vaccines, because in US, pharmacists can deliver vaccines. So that's what we do, and we have exchange students from Kenya. Here, as I listed here, since 1997, I've been training Indonesian students. As you know, Unpad, Burani, came here to visit us, and 2 of her students will come probably December or January. And also Patri here from UGM and 2 of his students. The first 6 months, these 2 students are supported by PMDSU. And then because they are good, I support them for 1 year here, extended. And then they have 2 or 3 papers. One of them, 2 of them have been published. So this can be done, right? So I do it myself. I don't have any support from Indonesian government except the PMDSU at the beginning, but also collaborate with 1 other student. This is me at UGM, discussing the students' potential research, but she's here now. So she's been here for 6 months, and then with her own funding, and then I invite her back 1 year here. So we could do that. This is my previous students. In 1997, I invited Dr. Erna Sinaga. She got PhD from UI, but she did her research here. I supported her for 2 years. And then Rahmawati Ridwan, also from FKUI. I supported her for 2 years here. And Vivid also got PhD from UI. And now I have lots of students from all over the world, and one of them also from UI, Philia, and then this Aza, undergraduate at KU, and he worked with me, and then now he's in cancer biology at UCLA. So here again, recently, there are lots of Indonesian here. 1, 2, 3, 4 Indonesian here recently. So 2 of them, one just finished PhD from UGM. She will finish PhD, did the research here. And this is one of my former students, now is faculty at UGM. And she's from UII, PhD students that just came back. So it's possible, and I've been training them. So thank you very much. Hopefully we can continue our collaborations.
Baik, terima kasih. Thank you very much, Prof. Sihan.
Oke.
Ya, Bapak Ibu, kami mengundang untuk sesi Q&A pada malam hari ini, dan kami sudah mendapatkan beberapa pertanyaan, Prof. Sihan, di chatbox. Izin saya mulai membacakan, Prof. Sihan. Jadi yang pertama, the first one is from Bu Merlin dari Gajah Mada, from Gajah Mada, about the how to develop academia awareness regarding the needs of the biotechnology, because somehow it's too advanced if we give it to undergraduate student. But when you give it to graduate students, somehow they do not have strong foundation on biotechnology. Do you have any suggestion how to build the capacity of this topic in Indonesia, Prof.
Yeah,
Siahan?
yeah. Thank you for the question. This can be done through many many ways, I guess. First of all, the awareness. So the reason I teach to Indonesia, that's one thing, to train the younger students. And the other thing is to have scientific meetings in this area to have awareness. Even though it starts small, you can organize it in your institution. I know you are from UGM. I thought recently there's a meeting about biopharmaceutics at UGM, I think. So that's a good way to do that. And collaborating. So that's why I'm collaborating with UNPAD and UGM and previously with UI. So that's one way, and collaborate not just with me. I can be a conduit here to collaborate with other scientists. So that's the reason I'm here. I can connect you with somebody. So recently there's a student from I forgot what university he's from, and he wants to work with engineering. So I connect him with engineering professor, bioengineering professor. So it's possible. So by awareness, by contacting people, like I said, I'm open for as a conduit, and so collaboration is one other way. Also, I guess one way is to support the scientists with exchange and stuff. I think Prof. Indrona, Pak Dubes already said that we might do some exchange. So that's a good thing. I hope I answer your question. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Professor. And also in Indonesia, we have a classic challenge about if we're talking about the investment in the research and development, most of the funding came from the government. Do you have a suggestion how to increase the appetite of the private sector to also invest in biotechnology research, Professor Sian? Because we knew that our government, Ministry of Finance, already released the regulation about the tax deduction to increase the investment on the research from the private sector. However, it's not it's still very low, the investment for the research from the private sector. Do you have suggestion about that?
Yeah. So obviously I cannot speak for Indonesia, right? So I speak for what I experience here in US. So actually in US, I got call, or they give me funding to investigate certain area. The reason is they want to know about certain topic, but it's too expensive for them to do it themselves, because as you know, to hire some PhD in industry costs quite costly, right? So they subcontract the work to us because with the agreement that certain area of the research that we are doing can be published, because it's a conflict of interest for me to tell my student to do some research and then they cannot use it as their PhD thesis. So we have to be careful on that. And so because it's cheaper to subcontract to us, so that's one way for them to give us a project that they need the answer to the question, because it's too basic for them. For us, that's what we want, basic science. So connection with industries is really important. And we also have a program called internship program. Most of our PhD students will go to industry to do internship, although some of the work that they do in industry not able to be published, but some of the work that they bring in with the agreement, we could do, could use some of their equipment to solve our problem at the same time. So because of that, then we have becomes a lot of connection with the industry. So lots of this has to be done like interpersonal relationship first. So that's how, because they begin to trust us because they know our student quality. Then they say, okay, maybe we should subcontract that. So at the beginning it's personal networking, although as I mentioned to you before, that we are one of the premier department in developing biotech products. So lots of our alumni in in a good position in pharma industry. So everything's about connection and communication, right? So that's one way to do that. That's why in my presentation there should be a collaboration between all this.
Thank you very much, Prof. And we also have question from Pak Didin Mujahidin from ITB. He mentioned that one of the obstacle in this field is the low number of the expert in the organic synthetic chemists in Indonesia. And do you have a suggestion how to increase the number of the expert in organic synthetic chemists, Prof. Sian? And also Pak Didin also asked for the comment from Pak Dubes, because in USA there are so many expert in organic synthetic chemists, including the Nobel Prize winner in organic synthesis. So maybe yeah, Prof. Sian, do you have a suggestion how to increase that? And maybe later on Pak Dubes juga can give a comment about that.
Yeah, so I'm an organic chemist by training. I do a lot of in vivo. I morph myself from organic chemist. So I did physical organic chemistry as my PhD, just measuring acidity of a proton. Can you imagine? I'm doing cell biology and in vivo, right? So and then at postdoc, I did total synthesis of natural product, 24 steps. But that's a peptide. That's how I entered to peptide business. But anyway, basic science is really, really important. Even though we're in pharmacy school, all our grad students will take physical or basic organic, advanced organic chemistry and physical organic chemistry before in the first year. So that's I could not stress enough that you need those strong basic science. So we need to invest. How to do that? Send them to US. I train a lot of Indonesian. Like I said, since '97, I have students from Indonesia here. Although later on they expand their career in different institutes, but I cannot say enough to train them basic science and applied science both. In US now, a lot of chemistry department becomes chemical biology. So they're now traditional but they're still traditional organic chemists. Yeah, you need to send them exchange, for example. Like I said, a couple of my students from UGM and from UI, they spent 2 years, 1 year and a half, here, and now they're just like my graduate student. They know lots of different things, including basic science. So it depends on what you want to decide to do. So yeah, I'm too far away to know what the intricate detail over there, but we are open here for training people. Yeah, like I said, I can be the conduit. I know a lot of people. for example, one of a distinguished professor from Georgia State, all right? I asked him to give a Zoom lecture because he said, we will accept a lot of students from Indonesia. We need them. So he gave a talk in Unpad in Zoom. So I can be the conduit. I'm here. I know a lot of people.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor. Pak Dubes, do you have any comment about the request to connect the US expert in organic chemistry to make collaboration with Indonesia, because in Indonesia we lack of the expert here in Indonesia, Pak Dubes?
Well, thank you, Professor Taruna. Very incredible presentation. We learned a lot today, and I think we hit the record. 206 participants of this Zoom meeting. First of all, I think let's make it something concrete. Number one, yes, as mentioned by Professor Rizky, yes, Indonesia have what we call super tax deductible. For companies willing to spend resources involved on research and development and education, companies itself will receive 300% tax deductible. Not many companies in Indonesia ever tried this one. Some try mention that yes, but sometimes the regulation is too difficult. So let us know for all our people who are present in this Zoom meeting. Try from those companies. Please try how difficult it is to get a 300% tax deductible. If you are doing some research activity, that's number one. Number two, yes, of course, we have to go into basic research. However, we should realize also that sometimes we have to do it in a parallel one. Basic research, yes, but downstream research and application, so yes. I'd like to ask Professor Truna, you mentioned about the biosimilar.
Yeah.
Okay. My question to you, how far are we, or how many, or how few those biosimilar product activities, the developing processes, moving toward production processes is now in progress in Indonesia?
I think there is quite a bit already.
Okay, if it is, that's why we will seek the response coming from the biopharma, from Kimia Pharma, and from any of those pharmaceutical industries who is present here in this room to respond. Okay? This is issue number one. Okay, issue, how about the upstream? How about the basic research? Yes, we should go also because I'm talking about we are moving in a parallel process. Okay, on that one we go into I mentioned into LBDP. LBDP has been tasked by our president himself to go into STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, and medicine. So please, okay, for our participants of this Zoom, choose those two. If any of you would like to go development and downstream industries, pharmaceutical, talk with Professor Taruna what kind of ready to produce product in a biosimilar position. Okay, so we know this, and we will find out. I myself and my ambassador will connect this, which agencies or state-owned enterprise or universities who is working in that field. In the meantime, for those of you now doing research or going into a master program or PhD program on basic research, chemistry, on biology, on biochemistry, and so on, please also contact us. It will be a top priority for the LPDP selection processes. So recommendation coming from Professor Taruna, from other professor of Indonesia in the US, to be a good recommendation for you to see. So I'm very happy to learn and to follow this today Zoom meeting. Professor Taruna, you have an incredible outcome of this presentation. Okay, we follow through with two topics. One, to improve the basic sciences program to the LBDP priority program. And second, I would like to ask you, how big is the biosimilar projects ongoing in Indonesia? How far are we? from the development processes to a production processes, because this can be used as a vehicle to proceed. However, actually, I need the response coming from my colleague from the pharmaceutical industry, who's present here, from biopharma, kimia pharma, host, and also please respond on this, because you are in the downstream part. Dr. Turuna is willing to bring from upstream to downstream. Thank you, Pak Rizky.
Terima kasih Pak Dubes. Bapak Ibu mungkin ada yang dari industri yang bisa merespon Bapak Ibu terkait pertanyaan tadi. Oke, baik. Sambil kita menunggu, while we're waiting for the response from our colleagues from industry, we receive several similar question on the chat regarding how difficult it is for our local biopharmaceutical product to enter the market, Professor Taruna. And do you have any suggestion? Do you have any thought, any comment about this? Because we also realize that many challenges for the local biopharmaceutical product to enter the market, including the high cost of development, the high risk of failure, and the long period of development, and etc. So, do you have can you share your experience, or do you have thoughts about this issue, Prof. Taruna?
Yeah. So I guess I saw also a question about talent from in this area. So I guess in the case of how to the difficulties, one of the thing is that the training of people who can work with biologics is quite important. Like I said, 1986, our department decided to begin to train in this area. Can you imagine 1986? This because there is Dole by Act that the U.S. has to develop all the biotech products, and they give us funding to train students, which I was for 10 years, I was the head of those programs to train students specifically for developing biotech products. So we got funded for 30 years to do this. So we train 10 students per year to develop, and they are now becomes the leader in the biotech industry. It started from 1986. So the other part is we have a center for biologics development here. The head of it is my friend, Dr. Volkin. In fact, Dr. Volkin visited Biopharma a while ago because he got funded by Gates Foundation to develop cheap vaccine. So they are trying to produce cheap vaccine, which is the while ago. And then they are looking into biopharma. So they visited biopharma for doing this. So we have a center here that can train you. And I teach advanced pharmacy. That's my course that I coordinate. All the students here has to take. So we can do short courses. For example, when I was in UGM 2003, we set up a short course. A lot of attendees. So those kind of things can be done. Nowadays, I can teach from here by Zoom. I don't have to go. I don't have to travel 24 hours. The knowledge can transfer them. Our department has students in industry to get PhD. So this is possible. So one good thing from the COVID era is we know how to teach using Zoom. So we have to I guess we have to develop critical mass of talent students. Like I said, why do you think that the student, the PMDSU student that got supported 6 months, I support them another year with my own funding? Why? Because they are talented. I saw them 6 months here. They're very talented. I said, you come back here another year, finish your PhD with high quality science. and publish in international journal. And we did. So that can be done. Like I said, the 1 year is not funding from Indonesia. It's I put my my money to it. So why not industry from Indonesia? Or if you want training here, you can come here. So like I said, I'm not selling our department, but we have experience since 1986 on doing this. So we can do short courses, we can do exchange, we can collaborate with biotech right now in UGM, or maybe make another biotech in UI, everywhere. So I remember in 2018, we got invited, all of us diaspora invited to Indonesia, and we were sent to different university. I was fortunate enough to go to Bengkulu and try to set up a collaboration there, or at least teach there. And basically, unfortunately, there's no follow-up. That's another another problem sometimes. But we are here, and I know lots of diaspora in America that involved in I4. They are really open to help. I know it for sure. So we just need to make the connection.
Pak Rizky, tadi pertanyaan saya sederhana. Beliau bicara biosimilar ya.
Ya.
Apa saja Pak yang sudah ada? Ini Bapak mau ketemu sama saya kan duta besar Pak. Saya bisa relay ini message ini ke Indonesia. Apa saja di program biosimilar Indonesia yang sudah Bapak tahu, yang sudah pada tahapan development processes, sudah mau ke production. Itu akan dibawa ke Indonesia. Nanti itu akan yang ini ke Menteri BUMN, yang ini ke Menteri Dikti, yang ini ke LPDP, yang ini ke Bio Farma, yang ini ke Bio Farma. Begitu Pak Rizky. Jadi kita nggak berhenti di sini. Jadi please, yang tadi di biosimilar sudah banyak, yang mana saja, dan yang mana saja sudah di development processes, di proses pengembangan, masuk ke production. Nah, kalau ini kan harus ditangkap. Sebenarnya saya ingin sekali teman-teman yang dari pharmaceutical industry yang merespons ini, Pak, kami sudah dalam tahapan ini. Jadi enak. Yang di industri itu langsung, Pak, kami mau pakai tax deductible 300% untuk ini. Kita yang berjuang. Kurangnya apa? Saya kira kan punya keuangan juga berbanyak. Di super tax deductible 300% kok nggak ada yang pakai. Apa masalahnya? Ternyata mungkin terlalu sulit. Usulannya, seperti ngambil hadiah Nobel. Ya, hal seperti itu yang dari pemerintah kita rapikan. Ya, teman-teman sekalian supaya tahu. Sayang kalau ini. Terima kasih Pak Luna dengan upayanya ya. Tapi kalau sudah ada yang sudah masuk biosimilar, kita lanjutkan sampai production dan tahapan development and production. Itu kira-kira pikiran pemerintah Pak Turuna. What do you think?
Yeah. Pak, so saya melakukan research ya, but I don't know for detail how many and so forth. Yeah. So there's a collaboration between Innofen and Aetna Biotechnologies. I have it in my slide, but I just go through it because of the time. There's a product called Befagen. Befagen is, I think it's probably derived from bevacizumab. This product is treating 6 different cancer. They call it Befagen. It comes from Etana and Innofen. And there's also Biopharma has a product for cancers and autoimmune diseases. For autoimmune diseases, usually probably antibodies for TNF alpha that I said maybe. And then also Biocon has a Herzimab for breast cancer and gastric cancer. And then also there's collaboration between Kimia Pharma and Sangwon Pharmacopoeia. I don't know what their product is. And then there's also Pete Daewang Infion. I don't know what the product is, but that's in the list during my search, do they have biosimilar? Those are the companies that players, maybe others, but so I assume that at least the Bevagen and then Herzimab is already a product out there. But can you imagine it's only a few, right? So there's a lots of products that they can develop. As you can see the graph, lots of antibodies, but some of them may be still not off patent, but a lots of them already off patent that probably can be developed. That's my take.
Thank you, Prof. Sian. We also have Bu Teki raising hand from Bio-Farma.
Good.
Ya,
Bu
oke.
Teki, are you still?
Terima kasih. May
Ya,
I
silakan Bu
to
Teki.
talk in Indonesia ya, Pak ya?
Ya, silakan.
Pak Dubes
Silakan,
dan
Ibu.
Pak Prof. Taruna, ini pertemuan kita yang mungkin kedua ya. Tadi
Iya.
saya melihat dari Kimia Farma ada dari Bu Jasmine, tetapi tidak ikut lagi kayaknya. Terkait dengan seberapa jauh dari biosimilar yang ada di Indonesia, saya rasa memang ini ada bagian R&D kami sendiri juga yang memang menggeluti tersebut. Kalau Bio Farma sendiri memang lebih banyak
Bu Teki
dominan di
Ibu memperkenalkan diri siapa Ibu?
saya dari Bio Farma kebetulan salah satu direktur di Bio Farma, tetapi tidak di bidang yang riset ini ya. Jadi sekarang saya dapat amanah di produksi dan supply chain. Dulu sebelumnya di komersial. Jadi terkait dengan Bio Farma sendiri untuk riset-riset yang kita lakukan lebih banyak ke arah vaksin, dan tadi sudah disebutkan kami mendapatkan foundation dari Gate Foundation terkait dengan polio dan sebagainya, itu sangat banyak, dan beberapa nanti ke depannya akan ada beberapa kerjasama dengan Gate. Namun untuk yang biosimilar, Bio Farma pernah mengembangkan, Prof. Taruna, untuk trastuzumab itu sampai sudah ada bulknya, tetapi belum bisa kami lakukan untuk fase 1, 2, dan 3-nya. Untuk masuk ke fase 1 biayanya cukup besar, dan mungkin N-nya sampelnya kan juga harus orang-orang yang sakit ya. Sementara kejadian yang di Indonesia biasanya gini, Pak Indro, terkait Pak Dubes, bahwa kita akan time to marketnya pada saat riset dari downstream ke upstream itu posisinya akan lebih lambat daripada kita finish product. Kita ngambil dari finish product, formulasi mungkin, atau fill and finish ya posisinya. Tapi kalau membuat dari proses dari primernya atau bulknya, tentu ini akan sungguh sangat lama dan belum tentu berhasil. Jadi kekuatan untuk riset yang ada di Indonesia sendiri yang tadi disampaikan super tech deduction, kalau boleh saya sampaikan, itu juga tidak mudah untuk mendapatkan super tech deduction. Jadi ada regulasi yang mungkin perlu untuk disimplifikasi di Kementerian Keuangan juga untuk bagaimana mendapatkan tech deduction tersebut. Walaupun kami sudah mendapatkan, tapi saya rasa untuk seluruh periset-periset yang ada di perguruan tinggi, kebetulan kami juga bekerja sama dengan perguruan tinggi, hampir banyaklah perguruan tinggi yang di Indonesia kita kerjasama, untuk masuk ke arah sana memang sulit. Jadi kalau konsep pentahelik mau dibenerin katakanlah, itu memang PR yang tidak bisa kalau hanya katakanlah dari Bio Farma sendiri dengan perguruan tinggi nggak bisa. Government harus turun. Jadi industri, government, akademisi, bisnis, ABG, community ya, dan media. Dan ini memang bukan PR yang mudah pada saat periset masuk ke produk, itu lembah kematiannya banyak banget. Itu yang terjadi. Nah, ini mungkin kami ingin coba sampaikan. Tadi disampaikan juga terkait dengan Bio Farma lebih ke arah vaksin, kemudian ada biosimilar, kita akan masuk ke sana juga. Masih dalam proses. Kimia Farma juga ada yang melakukan tersebut. Selain itu juga tadi disebutkan Etana juga akan lebih ke arah sana juga, sudah betul. Daewong lebih ke arah eritropoietin, dan mungkin Kalbe ini yang Pak Yulis udah tanda resign itu mungkin akan juga sampaikan, semuanya akan mengarah ke sana. Tetapi yang perlu dibantu oleh Kedubes US adalah misalnya ada misalnya kayak perusahaan yang disebut Amgen, itu sangat banyak yang memiliki paten di sana. Apakah itu bisa untuk trust kepada kami untuk kemudian dia memberikan transfer teknologi ke industri, itu akan mempercepat. Nah, ini PR yang mungkin dari sebelah mana ujung ujungnya yang awal atau yang dari akhirnya dulu terus baru ke awal. Itu mungkin pilihan-pilihan yang nanti dalam strategi yang harus dilakukan. Kembali lagi Indonesia pada saat mungkin produk bisa jadi, tetapi daya beli tidak terlalu bisa cukup kuat pada saat kita tidak bisa masuk ke dalam Jaminan Kesehatan Nasional BPJS. Begitu itu tidak masuk di dalam regimen yang bisa ditanggung oleh negara, tentu ini menjadi market yang tadi mungkin tamsamnya dari yang disampaikan oleh Prof. Teruna tidak akan dapat di Indonesia. Karena daya beli masyarakat nggak akan bisa untuk seorang dengan pasien kanker akan merasa akan jatuh miskin bila tidak ditanggung oleh BPJS. Dan BPJS hanya menanggung katakanlah regimen-regimen untuk kemoterapi yang fase 1 katakanlah. Untuk fase-fase yang targeting yang tadi MAB dan sebagainya mungkin masih jauh ya Prof. Seperti kami Bio Farma memiliki diagnostik saja untuk kanker kolon kerjasama dengan diaspora. Masuk ke sininya saja edukasinya sulit sekali karena memang biotech di Indonesia perlu banyak yang harus menggarap dan saya belum tahu nih sejauh mana nanti akan bangunnya kebangkitan di Indonesia terkait dengan ilmu yang seharusnya sudah ada di Indonesia. Mungkin itu keprihatinan dari kami. Terima kasih. Saya ada Bu Dokter Uti juga. Ini mungkin kalau nanti akan menambahkan silakan.
Ya, terima kasih banyak Bu Teki. Kita
Tadi
juga
mohon
ada
maaf,
Pak
tadi boleh tahu
Yulis
apa Amgen ya dari kita ya, Amgen.
Amgen,
Amgen.
ya.
Oke,
Amgen
oke.
sudah pernah ada beberapa dokter yang membutuhkan, tetapi kami belum berhasil untuk bekerja sama dengan Amgen tersebut. Makasih.
Makasih. Mohon Ibu Teki di chatnya ditulis ya. Nanti kita yang follow up Bu, kita yang di sini kok. Monggo silakan. Terima kasih
Ya,
Pak.
Kita
makasih
juga
Pak Dubes.
ya, terima kasih Bu Teki, Pak Dubes. Kita juga ada Pak Yulis Tiadi dari Kalbe Farma. Silakan Pak
Silakan.
Yulis.
Yes.
Ya, selamat pagi semuanya. Terima kasih atas webinar ini, sangat membantu kami. Mungkin ini masukan untuk Prof. Teruna juga dengan Pak Ambasador ya, bahwa Kalbe Farma sebenarnya dari tahun 2016 kita sudah membangun pabrik untuk biologics ya. Kita sudah license in trastuzumab, bevacizumab, rituximab. Ini semuanya fill and finish untuk DP ya, drug product. Dan kita juga sudah punya erythropoietin, filgrastim, dan novel product, evapoietin alpha, yaitu ini adalah novel product long acting erythropoietin yang kami develop sendiri dengan kerjasama dengan perusahaan Korea, Genexin, dari segi CMC maupun dari segi clinical development. Dan produk ini sudah di-approve di Indonesia dan tengah mendapatkan approval nanti di Australia, Taiwan, negara-negara ASEAN, Korea, dan lain sebagainya. Dan kini kami tengah melakukan uji klinik juga di Eropa untuk bridging mendapatkan approval di Eropa. Menanggapi tadi Pak Ambasador bilang bahwa kita memiliki super tax deduction 300%. Benar Pak mengenai hal itu. Tapi dengan catatan bahwa semua proposal itu adalah basic research. Kita mulai basic research dari awal, Pak. Ya, jadi dengan adanya misalnya CMC manufacturing segala macam atau dengan tech transfer untuk development itu nggak masuk di dalam kriteria super tax deduction, Pak. Dan itu mahal setengah mati. Berbeda dengan produk generik, yang di mana kita untuk licensing produk yang telah off patent, itu kita cuma melakukan proses validasi dan short clinical trial, hanya untuk PK/PD saja. Sedangkan untuk biologics, kita bukan hanya melakukan proses validasi saja, tapi kita juga harus melakukan stability. Paling tidak 1 tahun. Ya, jadi sangat panjang sekali dan biayanya sangat besar sekali dibandingkan dengan obat-obat generik. Jadi itu tanggapan kami dari industri yang mewakili industri. Tadi Bu Teki juga sudah banyak bicara mengenai isu yang kami hadapi di Indonesia, ya. Jadi saya sendiri sebenarnya based in Boston, Prof. Taruna. Kita pernah kontak melalui email. Saya pernah kerja di Immunogen, mengembangkan Kadcyla. Dan isu itu merupakan suatu hal tantangan baru buat saya setelah join Kalbe 6 tahun yang lalu. Jadi memang kalau kita hanya mengembangkan biosimilar untuk pasar Indonesia, nggak untung sama sekali, Pak. Kita rugi besar sama sekali. Sedangkan untuk biosimilar sendiri itu udah red ocean, ya, untuk market Indonesia, ya. Kemudian kalau kita ingin mengembangkan untuk seluruh dunia biosimilar, we need to be the first in biosimilar. Karena tantangan kita adalah kita harus berkompetisi dengan company-company yang sudah established, ya, dalam hal ini. Jadi begitu respon saya, bukan dari tantangan utama bukan hanya dari segi basic research, talent yang ada, tapi yang lain perlu diperhatikan adalah dari segi CMC, kemudian dari segi market limitation di Indonesia. Begitu, terima kasih.
Terima kasih Pak Julius. Ini semakin menarik diskusinya Bapak Ibu, tapi ternyata waktu juga yang harus membatasi pertemuan kita pada hari ini. Sebelum kita nanti tutup, saya mengundang Pak Dubes untuk bisa menyampaikan arahannya Pak terkait diskusi kita pada malam hari ini Pak. Silakan Pak Dubes.
Pertama-tama terima kasih sekali nih, Profesor Taruna. Thank you for all your support of Indonesia to still, educating our people, providing them with the sciences in pharmaceutical and biochemistry. Kira ini kita semua harus mengapresiasi beliau ya. Terima kasih sekali. Yang kedua, kami tadi mendapat masukan. Jadi saya akan coba tadi Pak Julius dan Ibu Teki, kalau memang super deductible 300% pajak itu susah, nanti kita coba bahasa Jawanya disisir, dipetani. Susahnya di mana? Nah, sebenarnya itu sudah niat baik dari pemerintah untuk memberikan tax deductible sampai 300% untuk kegiatan research. Memang nggak ada yang pakai, mungkin tadi terlalu susah, rekomendasinya ada mungkin, atau mungkin tadi terlalu mahal, tapi kan itu sudah niat, itu adalah hanya dengan cara begitu kita bisa meningkatkan aktivitas riset di Indonesia. Jadi mohon kita berapa? Yang berikutnya adalah tadi tawaran dari Profesor Teruna, dia menawarkan kenapa sih untuk tadi Pak Julius, Ibu Teki, kenapa sih nggak diundang beliau untuk Zoom person topic gitu. Ya Pak Taruna, you don't mind and you are in Kansas, terus our team is in Bandung, for example. Let's have some period to have on certain topics. Karena ini kesempatan kita berhubungan seperti ini. Saya merasakan yang hadir hari ini 206 orang, berarti semuanya kan Hindu. Masuk seperti ini. Oh begitu tuh cara. Oh ternyata ada rudal, peluru kendali untuk menghancurkan sel kanker. Gitu. Yang tidak menghancurkan sel yang lain, begitu kan Pak? Hal seperti ini kan untuk kita yang awam juga hal yang baru. Gitu. Jadi ini kesempatan bagus. Tadi dan saya mengundang Pak Ibu dari perguruan tinggi, juga dari pharmaceutical industry. Silakan. Beliau berkenan untuk langsung berkomunikasi, Zoom dan sebagainya. Pada saat bersamaan yang berkaitan dengan regulasi, tadi Bu bilang, banget ini kita mau mulai dari mana? Kalau kami tentu mulai dari yang bisa kita mulai. Tadi contoh saja, pasal pajak 300%. Gimana sih kendalanya? Mohon Pak Julius kita kasih diberi masukan. Yang kedua, pakar-pakar kita seperti ini, mana-mana, saya ulang lagi Pak Julius, dari pharmaceutical industries, mana-mana yang sudah masuk tahapan development, atau yang dari basic research ke development misalnya, itu kita itu bicara dengan Teruna, Pak punya apa saja? Oh, ini ada program-program yang baru tahapan selesai di-applied, masuk flight research-nya selesai, mau masuk ke development processes. Misalnya, kalau ada untuk menghasilkan obatan seperti ini, kenapa nggak kita bahas bersama-sama? Tapi kalau Pak Yulis sampaikan, itu memang harus menguasai dunia. kita bisa menguasai dunia. Terus saya kira bahasa Jawa ininya insya Allah karena penduduk kita 285 juta. Ini kita punya vaksin sendiri dengan pasar konsumer dalam negeri yang sesuai BPJS, kita bisa konsumer dalam negeri untuk menguasai dunia. Senang kita semua, Bapak Ibu, Taruna juga tahu, Pak Risis juga tahu, kita semua terkaget-kaget waktu kita mengalami COVID. Betapa dalam tanda kutip lemah sekali industri farmasi kita. Betul, kita betul dikuasai import semuanya dari luar, terutama dari China sama dari India misalnya. Kita baru sadar waktu itu. Sekarang kita mulai bangkit, malah pelan-pelan. Tapi waktu itu kita dipacu dengan COVID, alhamdulillah hanya dalam waktu 3 bulan, Profesor Hamam Riza berhasil membuat 53 prototipe berbagai produk untuk menangani COVID. Ternyata orang Indonesia kalau ditekan gitu bisa menghasilkan. Dari yang masalah itu yang untuk bernapas terus itu sampai berbagai macam sampai laboratorium testing untuk COVID itu mereka kerjakan dalam 3 bulan. 53 produk seperti itu siap untuk masuk membantu COVID. Jadi hal seperti ini kita melihat dan itu mungkin. Ya, apa yang tidak mungkin mari kita coba sama-sama. Dan sebagai penutup, Mbak, ini saya titip Pak Taruna silahkan teman-teman silakan nanti. Do you think you can provide us with your phone number, Pak Taruna?
Ya, bisa Pak.
Bisa ya, please masukkan ke chat langsung saja bilateral talk gitu ya. Saya sendiri dari masukan ini akan membuat report ke Jakarta sebagai duta besar gitu ya. Nah, menteri terkait nanti menunggu respons dari beliau-beliau. Saya terima kasih sekali nih Pak Rizky. Saya menyampaikan kepada semua, ini masih ada 15 lagi profesor siap bicara. Jadi mari kita lihat, belum lagi yang dari luar. Di sini dua sudah siap, itu adalah Google sama Microsoft. Mereka bicara masalah artificial intelligence. Jadi kita mari bersiap, kita lanjutkan pertemuan kita seperti ini. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Pak Rizky.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Duta Besar. Bapak Ibu, pertemuan kita malam hari ini atau siang hari waktu Amerika ini sangat menarik ya. Dan ini kita lintas background, tidak hanya akademisi tapi juga dari mewakili government dan juga industri hadir ini semata-mata karena utamanya kecintaan kita terhadap Indonesia. Kita ingin mewujudkan kemandirian kesehatan yang ada di Indonesia. Terima kasih kami ucapkan pada narasumber kita, Pak Prof. Taruna Siaan, dan juga Pak Dubes, Pak Indro Yunus Susilo. Semoga sesi kita pada malam hari ini bisa memberi inspirasi untuk kita bekerja sama yang lebih erat dalam bidang ilmu pengetahuan dan kesehatan. Terima kasih sekali lagi Bapak Ibu. Sampai jumpa pada acara webinar series yang berikutnya. Tadi seperti disampaikan Pak Duta Besar, kita akan punya 15 series lagi. Bapak Ibu, ini baru series kedua. Dan kita tunggu nanti series-series selanjutnya. Baik, wabillahi taufiq walhidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Selamat pagi Pak Rizky.
Waalaikumsalam, terima kasih.
Waalaikumsalam. Salam buat Pak Indriyono.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Sukses selalu Pak Taruna ini dari UI.
Thank you everyone.
Terima kasih Pak Taruna, luar biasa.
Ya, sangat luar biasa Pak Taruna.